Unpopular opinion, I think it's totally okay to cut off people you love, even if they haven't done anything wrong to you at all. I think this goes down to how we all view attachment, especially as a child and a teenager. I used to have much more of an anxious attachment style. So I used to get incredibly attached to people I loved, and any signs of sort of kind of pulling away from me, or me fixing my green screen, or me having done something wrong, like it would impact me to a severe degree. Having that mindset made me very, very unwell, and it made connections I had with people tumultuous and dangerous. So when I say this, I'm talking from someone who's also used to being on the other side of kind of fearing these disconnects in connections that you hold dear to your heart. As an adult now, I've decided to see connection differently, and that was especially from after I cut ties with my father and I cut ties with my ex-boyfriend who cheated on me. After those two incidents that both propelled me into near suicide, I had to start seeing connections differently to how I was, because if I continued in this way, connections could kill me. It was like a radical change of thinking after I got cheated on, and I do genuinely thank having bipolar for this in a weird way, because I think it put me in circumstances and mindsets I hadn't been in before. With hypomania, which is a part of bipolar disorder, my ego got so inflated that I started seeing the exact same situation that I'm in, or I was in. I saw it like complete 180, and having that experience of having a completely different almost view on the exact same subject matter, like, it gave me a flexibility of thinking that I hadn't had previously. And bipolar disorder is a horrible, horrible illness. I'm not saying it's not horrible, but I'm saying that it's had its benefits in my life. So again, coming back to present day, I've moved away from this mindset, and now I'm filtering who I allow into my life to begin with. And I am more picky than most people. A lot of the connections that I did create in the last years don't continue to resonate in the place I am now. And it's nothing to do with the other person, really. It's not that they aren't good enough or that I don't love them. It's nothing to do with that. I love these people that I've let go, but it's just understanding that where I am in my life right now, like, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. There's this understanding, it seems to be the case with the people I've cut ties with, that there has to be something wrong with them, or you have to have an argument. People are always expecting like some sort of explosion in order for it to feel valid that a relationship is ending. People just don't understand how you can cut off somebody amicably. Somebody who's my best friend when I was a teenager, we were friends for like 4 years, and her life was going somewhere else. And I was aware of this, but I thought I would go along with her. And she ended up getting more distant. She stopped speaking to me as much, and when she would speak to me, she'd mainly be speaking about herself. She would stop asking how I am. I was depressed at this time. Like, I was depressed for a period of the relationship as well, so I understand that's not easy to deal with. But I had an expectation that she would be there for me, because when she's had really bad mental health, I'd always put everything down to be there for her. But instead of her telling me that I'm not resonating with this connection anymore and my life has changed so much and I just feel like we're going in different directions, instead of saying that, she just kind of strung me along and kept saying, oh, I've been a bad friend, but I'll be better, and then doing absolutely nothing about it, not changing a single thing. And I don't want to do that to other people. I don't want to be that person. I want to be clear as possible. And it's difficult though to say, like, look, it's not working. It's hard. You don't want to hurt the other person's feeling. And it's especially hard because I have so much evidence of people not understanding me when I tell them why I'm making this decision, and that it's nothing to do with, like, it's not a problem with them. Like, I'm not asking for them to change. It goes beyond the resonance I talk about, because that's what loses a lot of people when I say resonance. because it comes from a more spiritual place. You know how you can love your parents, but they don't see eye to eye with you. They don't really understand the core aspects of who you are. You love your parents, but you might not actually want them too much into your life, because when you meet, you might not have much to talk about. You might not actually share that much in common. You see the world completely differently. Like, the way you operate within the world is different. Like, there's so many aspects of what can cause this misalignment. I do feel a bit crazy sometimes because of how little people have been able to understand this concept. Their failure to understand is upsetting, and I explain as much as I can. I will answer every single question they have regarding it, but in terms of changing my mind, like, I won't. If you continue down that road where you just stick around with each other for the sake of the other person not wanting you to leave, it's a disservice to them. They deserve to be with someone who's all in on them. Or at least all in terms of the dynamic you have. Every dynamic is different. The way people make relationships is so different. But this is just the way I make mine, and I want to make this video for the people who also kind of operate in this way, where there's very specific conditions that you need to feel truly connected with someone. And for me, it's like a intellectual and spiritual resonance. In order for me to feel, not love, but connected, seen by someone, I need us to resonate in these two locations. I struggle to connect with someone if we don't have similar intellectual views or intellectual conversations. And I don't mean smart conversations, I mean where we're exploring the world around us and experiences with our minds, but we're able to both be on the similar page in terms of exploring these concepts that I like to talk about. Doesn't mean you have to agree on everything. I just want there to be that mutual desire to have those sorts of conversations. Yeah, ideally I want them to see the world in a similar way to me. As a vegan, I really struggle to connect now with animal eaters, and I struggle to connect with people who are religious as well. It's not to say that they shouldn't be religious, it's just that I can't see eye to eye with them on this, so that impedes that level of connection we can have. I can love all these people. I can love pretty much everyone. That is not the barrier, it's how close do you feel to my... It's a case of being seen, I suppose. You want somebody who sees you. And I don't just mean see you, I mean like feel you in a way. A lot of people aren't going to get what I mean, but I think there'll be some people who do. So if you find yourself in a situation where you think, I can't see myself being friends with this person for very long, or I feel like I've changed so much and the people in my life just don't seem to match where I'm at in my life, or simply I don't really feel connected to this person the same way I did, that's okay. Don't need to hang around just because they haven't done anything wrong to you. Some people are happy with having like distant connections that are just kind of, you interact with them in just a certain way. Some people are happy with that. It's just not, I'm not the biggest fan. I'm a little bit all or nothing, a little with my connections personally. So I either want you quite close to me, or like, I don't want you within any considerable distance, if that makes sense. I feel like that could be misconstrued by some people, but that's okay. A lot of the things I feel is hard to explain, so I feel limited in my capacity to fully explain with precision exactly what I mean. I've broken up with quite a few people, especially in the last years. Yeah, they were never easy situations, none of them were. A lot of tears are shed by me and the other person during it. It's never something I want to do to be hurtful. I never ever want it to be seen like they've done something wrong, ever. If they've done something wrong, that's different, but if they haven't, like, I want it to be incredibly clear the reason why I'm doing it, and how much time I've taken to think about it, and why I've come to the decision, and how to proceed moving forward, and what it all means. But honestly, if you're feeling this way about someone in your life, like, take your time to explain to them why you've made a decision. be patient with them. A lot of the time the first response is like anger and fear and deep upset, and they may say things they don't mean, and that's okay. I've had people not say anything at all, and I've had people be really upset and try and like convince me otherwise. There's a varied reactions you can get, but you need to stand firm in your decision, and but be empathetic and be patient and answer any questions they have, because the lack of clarity does something deeply unsettling to me in particular, so I never want to do that to someone else. But yeah, it's completely normal if you need to do this, and I know it's not commonly done, so I feel like that's why I needed to say this message, but it's okay, I promise. And it's just about finding the people in your life that fit there, and the people that were in your life, they fit at some point, you know? At some point in your life they did fit, but you don't need them to always fit. It's okay. I really hope that this was some insight for you. But seriously, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end. I really appreciate it. I wish you the best day, whether you choose to stay or go, and sending you absolutely all the love in the world.